Many Americans thought things would be getting back on track by now, but instead what we have is an economy plagued by rampant inflation and broken supply chains. For months, industry experts have been alerting about the worsening supply chain crisis, but our leaders underestimated the severity of the problem. And now, U.S. consumers are about to get absolutely shocked by the shortages they will see. Instead of announcing a resolution, the White House just openly admitted that there will be significant shortages this holiday season and warned that supply chain problems are not going to get better anytime soon. Most Americans have never experienced such extensive shortages, and it's safe to say that the younger generation never even dreamed that they were possible. After all, we're the richest country on the planet, not only in wealth, but also in resources. However, as problems have been overlooked, despite the series of warnings that have been made throughout the past year, the worst is yet to come, and the painful shortages and price increases we have gone through so far were just the beginning. The White House would ordinarily try to spin any negative story to make it positive, but there's nothing they can say to hide the fact that there are widespread shortages all over the country. And at this point, even the mainstream media is commenting on the government's lack of action to tackle this crisis. According to the Daily Mail, White House officials are warning American shoppers that they won't be able to get key items like popular kids' toys for Christmas due to the ongoing supply chain nightmares that are strangling retail stores. When the corporate media starts to pay attention to our real issues, we know that things are already getting out of hand. In fact, the report even says that stores across the country are becoming increasingly barren thanks to a series of bottlenecks in the global supply chain, and that White House officials warn that Americans will face higher prices and empty shelves this holiday season. Right now, many goods such as toys, appliances, clothes are stuck either in Chinese factories or in containers on board gigantic cargo ships that are waiting for a berth. The unprecedented port congestion has created a nightmare economic scenario where it's become impossible to meet the rising demand, even though there's supply available, which is driving inflation and in turn raising prices for United States consumers. President Biden did not comment on the issues at length, nor has he offered a solution for them, the report highlighted. Earlier this year, he created a task force to tackle the issue, but so far, they are yet to present a plan to fix the issues. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve predicted an inflation spike of 4.2%. That's well above its 2% target. American consumers, unused to empty store shelves, may need to be flexible and patient, White House officials said. A senior White House official told Reuters when asked about holiday shopping, there will be things that people can't get. At the same time, a lot of these goods are hopefully substitutable by other things. I don't think there's any real reason to be panicked, but we all feel the frustration, and there's a certain need for patience to help get through a relatively short period of time. Although they're saying that these shortages will be for a relatively short period of time, the truth is that they've been promising this crisis would be temporary for a long time. You can believe them if you want, but they've lied before, and they're doing it again now. How are Americans supposed to substitute missing products with other things? It's anyone's guess, but that story doesn't sound good. Don't let anyone mislead you into thinking that these shortages are not that big of a deal. They have been going on for months, and they've only gotten worse. Even CNN is starting to sound like a doomsday prepper. On Twitter, it recently said, If you hoped grocery stores this fall and winter would look like they did in the before times, with limitless options stretching out before you in the snack, drink, candy, and frozen food aisles, get ready for some disappointing news. Well, if we don't have enough toys for everyone this holiday season, it would be frustrating, but we would definitely survive. The problem is that many of our food products are in extremely short supply. According to data compiled by CNN, many of the country's biggest food makers are telling grocers that they will have limited quantities of a number of their products, including items such as Rice Krispies Treats, Sour Patch Kids, some Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavors, McCormick gourmet spices, and Marie Callender's pot pies, because of labor, community, and transportation constraints throttling supply chains. A myriad of problems is weighing on retail and transportation companies, which recently issued a series of downbeat earnings outlooks. Some suppliers are also urging grocers to cancel their promotions over the holidays so products won't disappear from store shelves as quickly. Major food and consumer product manufacturers being short of supply on some items will be a challenge in the grocery industry in the final months of the year, said Steve Howard, Vice President of Merchandising at Bristol Farms, and that's a grocery chain in California. He revealed that his suppliers are warning about shortages of foods, glass jars, and packaging containers. Recent numbers give us a hint of what is really happening at supermarkets nationwide. According to the latest data released by IRI, which tracks in-stock levels at leading U.S. grocery chains, big box stores, pharmacies, and wholesale clubs, roughly 18% of beverages, 15% of frozen foods, 16% of snacks, 15% of candy, and 18% of bakery items were out of stock at stores during the week ending on October the 3rd. So just imagine what our country is going to look like if those numbers jump to 30 or 40%. And we should keep in mind that the vast majority of the food we consume is produced right here in the United States. So we should actually have less shortages, given that the most dramatic supply chain problems involve products that need to be shipped into the country. But at this moment, this doesn't even matter anymore because at almost every link in the supply chain, there is a shortage. Some food brands have started imposing restrictions or so-called purchase caps for certain products on grocery stores and distributors, while other vendors are warning of limited availability and dwindling inventory levels. Now, these purchase limits could be particularly challenging for independent grocers who've raised concerns in the past year that suppliers prioritize larger competitors over small stores. That's why at a local level, shortages can be way more severe than at huge supermarkets. However, big retailers are not immune from restrictions and not immune from scarcity. In a recent statement, food manufacturer giant Kellogg's said its 4 biggest grocery distributors will face purchase limits for Pringles snack stacks, Eggo pancakes, and Morningstar Farms plant-based hot dogs and bacon, while Rice Krispies Treats and other snacks will remain below service expectations through the end of the year. The company also requested that stores cancel their promotions for Rice Krispies and Corn Pop cereal to allow for recovery. Kellogg's emphasized that it was experiencing serious constraints in capacity. Similar problems are also plaguing many other companies. Our supply chains are in total chaos. There aren't enough yard workers to unload the cargo on the ships quickly enough, nor are there enough drivers able to transport them around on the ground. In stores, retailers don't have enough workers to unpack them, and to make things worse, more and more goods arrive on our coast every day and are added to the massive pile of products stranded on immense cargo ships. The enormous backlog of containers awaiting berth at the ports of LA and Long Beach is causing major headaches for suppliers, shipping companies, and retailers. As a result, the cost of shipping is reaching absurd heights. Last month, the average cost of a shipping container sent from China to the U.S. West Coast soared more than tenfold, from $2,000 to a high of $25,000, and the cost of shipping from Europe to the north coast of America has also skyrocketed. As of Monday morning, 63 ships were stuck outside LA and Long Beach ports, with wait times of up to, get this, a month and a half. There are dozens of cargo ships sitting off the coast of Long Island waiting to get unloaded. There are more than 20 cargo ships at anchor near Savannah, Georgia, carrying 80,000 shipping containers that are now stranded at the city's huge port. Nationwide, more than 100,000 containers are waiting to get unpacked. But due to a massive worker shortage, it'll be months until the congestion eases. In fact, we're being told over and over again that we simply do not have enough workers, which is quite strange, considering that the number of Americans currently employed is about 5 million less than it was just before the health crisis. So where did all the people go? Millions have seemingly disappeared from the system, even though government benefits, seen as the main culprit for labor shortages, have already expired. Something sketchy is going on, and we deserve some honest answers. These are such turbulent times, and much more turbulence is on the way. This is already the most dramatic supply chain collapse in modern history. It's safe to say that more disruptions are just around the corner. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, we would like to give you a reading recommendation to you, 7-Year Apocalypse. It's the latest book from the economic analyst and writer Michael Snyder, which is now available on Amazon. In the meantime, don't forget to turn that notification bell on to keep up with our next videos. See you on the next one.